In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
We have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street.
Don't do it.
We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis. And there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in the area.
Good.
Imagine if that city was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear.
Go away!
Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted.
Wow. Are you fucking stupid?
You are fake news.
That's not even cool. Like, why they do that?
Very fake news.
I don't give a damn fuck.
Go back to where you came from, okay?
Bingo. Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Fed.
All right, America, go to the YouTube right now. Skank Free, whoever he is.
Duct tape all over the place. It's a disgrace.
In 5, 4, 3.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Sunday, January 18th, 2026. Thank you for tuning in. Sitting shotgun tonight is our friend Batman. Welcome back.
Saddle up, partner.
Would probably help if I unmuted myself. How we doing?
Yeah, the duct tape rolls on. Anyway, welcome back. Later in the show, I'll play a segment I recorded with David Wood, a guy who went from attempted murder on his dad in the 90s to Christianity and success in apologetics online now. Very interesting conversation. That'll be in the second hour of the show. Before that, we'll talk all the week's news, including the Justice Department is now investigating Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, and reportedly even Becca Good, the quote-unquote wife or domestic partner of Renee Good, the woman who hit the gas and was shot for her efforts. Do you have any optimism, Batman, that Pam Bondi and company will, in fact, bring charges against any of the aforementioned people?
Not really. She doesn't have a good track record.
Really? What makes you say that?
Gee, I wonder.
Well, maybe this time Pam will deliver. Let's keep hoping. The fight for Greenland is intensifying. Trump announces a new set of tariffs on 8 European countries, and the EU is threatening to hold up the ongoing trade talks. Later in the show, we'll talk hoax hate, of course, as well. A woman behind the Colorado Springs mayor hoax in 2023 is going to prison, but still the mayor himself remains unindicted, despite plenty of evidence against him. We'll catch up with that story. And we'll take your super chats as well. Big thanks to those of you who support the show. Of course, before we get into it, 4 listeners. All right, getting into it, Batman. We have a couple more busts in the national struggle, this time in Arizona. We're, of course, talking about the dangerous and deadly Indian truck driver accidents, but these may be thwarted accidents or future accidents prevented because thankfully in Arizona, Border Patrol caught up with these guys before such things could happen. This is thanks to listener Fred for the tip on these stories. I missed this one 2 weeks ago. U.S. Border Patrol in the Yuma, Arizona sector announced they have apprehended an illegal alien truck driver from India trying to flee. Agents attempted a traffic stop on this big rig that was behaving or driving suspiciously. The driver refused to stop. He fled on foot after agents deployed a tire deflation device to neutralize the 18-wheeler. This is Verinder Singh, and Batman, can you guess? I don't know if you saw, but he was a licensed commercial driver. Do you know the state from which he was licensed?
I did see it already. Yeah, he's licensed in California, of course.
I shouldn't have put it on the screen. How could you guess? Anyway.
It's good that he has another name, though. I was going to guess, but I saw it.
Yeah, well, speaking of names, the real reason I bring this up, even though, of course, it is good to get illegal aliens off from behind the wheels of big rigs, is because there was a second one, also in the Yuma sector in Arizona. On Thursday, Border Patrol also announced they have apprehended, I believe, Suck Deep Singh. Suck Deep Singh is how you say his name.
That's disgusting.
He's not going to do well in prison.
He's going to suck deep. Actually, he's just going to get deported, it sounds like. I don't think he's going to go to prison, or I don't know. Who knows? But Suck Deep ran a red light in Quartzsite, Arizona. And when he was pulled over, border agents determined he is an illegal alien Indian national. And I know you can see it on your screen, but so I won't ask you to guess. But once again, commercially licensed to drive in which state? California. All right. He is now being processed for deportation. So to suck deep, we all say,
Try harder not to suck.
Or try hard to suck deeper, or whatever the joke is. Is the pronunciation actually suck deep? People who know,
I believe it's Souk Deep.
Souk Deep. I'm sorry for smearing you. Souk Deep.
No. Actually, I take it back. You're pronouncing it the right way.
He did suck deep. Suck Deep Singh. Okay. Did you see this clip? This clip going viral late in the week. Do you know where this happened? I couldn't find the information.
No.
Okay.
The sources that I saw of it didn't indicate where they were. Just that, look at this. That kind of thing.
Well, it's video of an older woman confronting duck hunters that has gone viral. I've seen some sources saying Canada. I've seen some sources saying Washington State. The guy who posted it is from Alberta, but I don't think he's a member of the party here. I think he just has the video for whatever reason. But there's a group of guys duck hunting on the shoreline somewhere. And
you're allowed to hunt ducks in Canada?
Is there a reason it would be illegal? I don't know.
Because it involves guns.
Oh, well, they hunt in Canada, do they not?
I don't know.
Well, I assume they hunt some ducks.
I suppose they must. You just can't use those guns to defend yourself, or you're the murderer.
Well, definitely can't use the guns to defend yourself against this particular woman. But these guys are out duck hunting wherever it is. They're on some shoreline, maybe U.S., maybe Canada. I don't know. They're speaking English, and it sounds like North American accents. So somewhere around here. But out of the woods, this wild blue-crested Karen appears, making her aggressive call. And the boys have to scare this creature away. So here was the moment.
Hey, bro, what kind of bird is that? Huh? What kind of bird is that?
First.
I'm not really sure.
I've watched this like 10 times, and it's still funny.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Get the hell out of here! You're not welcome! Go away! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!
Those are decoys, not ducks. Fucking retard.
Oh, fuck off! We don't want you shooting around here!
I don't give a fuck. I don't want you walking around here.
Oh, fuck off! This is public property!
Exactly my point. Thanks for proving our point.
Don't shoot anything alive, you fuck off!
These are already dead. These are already dead.
I don't care!
They're already dead.
I don't like shooting you, fuck offs! You fuck offs!
Those birds identified as dead already.
Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
And off she goes.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, I'm trying.
Now, in the longer version of the video, they actually shoot a duck right as she's walking away. I didn't know. YouTube has a lot of rules against that stuff, so I thought I better cut it out. But first of all, ma'am, thank you for your soundboard contributions.
Fuck off! Go away!
The guy who posted this said his wife heard him listening to the video. She thought it was a chicken in their room.
Fuck off!
Yeah.
Fuck off!
It sounds like baka. Yeah.
It is the cry heard in the wild of the pinko tit.
Now, as funny as it is, there is a very serious theme here, and that is to say how upside down our society actually is when a woman, really any woman, but certainly a woman of this age, is so confident to approach armed men for this sort of disrespect. And I'm going to guess, based on her behavior and maybe partially based on her appearance, that this sort of woman believes that the patriarchy oppresses women and all that nonsense. The balls, though, to actually walk up. I'm trying to, like, if I was a property owner in this area and my baby was trying to sleep and they were duck hunting and I had to tell these guys, like, hey, you know, could you please keep it quiet or something? Do you think I'm going to walk up to armed men with that sort of disrespect and approach them that way? The level of confidence she has to do that is really astounding.
Yeah, we definitely live in a world now where people are not afraid enough of getting their asses kicked.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of AI creations. I was looking for the AI video version of this video where she just gets like, she just takes a bunch of bird shot right to the chest. I'm not saying I wanted her. You know what I'm saying, Raja Mohan. In Minecraft, I'm just saying, like, in a bygone era, you cannot approach armed men like this and expect to just go about your day afterward.
If this were a scene from Red Dead Redemption 2, that corpse wouldn't have a head.
Oh, she's going on the railroad tracks.
Of cases. Yes, that's
she's
right,
going on the railroad tracks in Red Dead for sure. Our friend Viva Frey observed as well. That's a very nice, presumably down jacket she's wearing. I wonder where the fill in the jacket came from. Or maybe she's very environmentally responsible and it's synthetic insulation made from recycled plastic bottles only. Who knows? But,
she looks wealthy. It's probably not.
Definitely very fine down then. All right. I got these stories backward. Let's check in here first before we get to the Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson stuff. But it's been a while since I've heard any updates about the Zizian transgender murder cult. I assume you're generally familiar, right, Batman?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are a bunch of, well, they were in the Bay Area, a bunch of trannies, and they were into veganism and some other kind of insane ideologies, but they all hung out together in this cult called the Zizians, and they were called the Zizians because their leader, you see here, Jack Lasota, himself transgender, is nicknamed Ziz. And this Ziz cult has been linked to several deaths, what appear to be outright murders, and some are being prosecuted as murders. Their landlord, two parents of one of the group members, a U.S. Border Patrol agent. There are at least 6 deaths that they're linked to, maybe more. But that is the Zizian transgender cult. They were apprehended this time last year, or maybe like late winter, early spring last year. And now some of them are facing prosecution. This week, a judge in Maryland handling their case granted 3 of the members, including Ziz himself, to work together on their defense for their upcoming trial. And so those 3 members, Jack Lasota, or Ziz, the leader, Michelle Zajko, and Daniel Blank, were seen exiting this van together at the courthouse in Cumberland, Maryland. And you can hear Ziz saying something about the prosecutor trying to get them on perjury and how their right to a speedy trial is being violated. But here's the moment. We haven't had a Ziz sighting, really. I don't know if I've seen this guy on video before, but here's the moment.
That ain't no woman. It's a man.
Ziz, any comment?
The prosecutor is trying to offer us valuable consideration for perjury. And they're violating our speedy trial rights.
Hey, Blank, any comment? Michelle, any comment?
So what Ziz is talking about there when he says they're trying to get us on perjury, apparently prosecutors are pressuring them to accept plea deals. Ziz is saying, I guess that would be perjury, since in his view it would be a lie to admit to what prosecutors are alleging, I think is what he means there. As far as the trial, it's set to begin February 9th. Now, in this trial in Maryland, these 3 aren't charged with murder or any type of homicide. They're charged with trespassing, weapons, and drugs charges. They were arrested in Maryland this time last year after fleeing the law. So this is the Maryland component of the case. Ziz also faces federal charges for being an armed fugitive. Michelle Zajko, the second one you saw walking there, she is also facing a charge for lying on the paperwork to get the gun that was used to kill David Mayland in January last year. He's the Border Patrol agent. This happened in Vermont. She gave the gun to Felix Buckholt, who's another tranny who died in the shootout with this U.S. Border Patrol agent, and Teresa Youngblood. Now, Teresa Youngblood survived, but she's facing murder charges in Vermont. She's currently facing trial there. She pleaded not guilty, wherever the Youngblood mention is in this story. Anyway, so she, although she didn't pull the trigger to kill him, she was involved in the murder. She was there. Her tranny boyfriend was killed, and so Youngblood is on trial for murder right now too. You've got all these different trials going on for the Zizians, and you have this group of, I don't know how many people are in it, a dozen people, linked to something like 6 murders, or at least suspicious deaths. And again, you know, we're supposed to accept the premise that there's absolutely no statistical basis to support the idea that deranged trannies are violent and dangerous. They're actually the most peaceful and stable demographic if you just leave them alone to be themselves.
I don't want to hear any more of these lies.
But
you can really tell they're just a really attractive group, aren't they?
Ziz is a big guy. I mean, I guess I had no idea what to expect from his size, but he's bigger than these police officers there.
Well, and I mean, the other two come up to about his waist.
Yeah, he's a big dude. So, but in another episode of, once again, statistically insignificant transgender murder, or murder associated with transgenderism, depending on who you believe, whatever theory of the Charlie Kirk assassination you accept. If you accept that Tyler Robinson is the shooter, then it has something to do with his transgender boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever they want to call it, Lance Twiggs. And of course, it's unknown if Lance actually cut off his twig. He goes by Luna Twiggs these days. But a lot of questions about Lance Twiggs. How much did he know ahead of time, since there's all sorts of demonstration that these pro-transgender social media accounts apparently knew the shooting was coming? Where is Lance Twiggs now? He's kind of disappeared. Is he in some sort of Fed protection? Is he, has he just fled? Is he, who knows? We don't really know where he is. And is the understanding of the case correct that Tyler Robinson, the accused shooter, was in some weird gay, not gay, trans relationship with Lance Twiggs, and that explains the motive to kill Charlie Kirk? Well, had you seen this week, Batman, that one of the family members of Lance Twiggs is now speaking to Brian Enton at News Nation? Did you catch this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, Brian Enton tracked down this relative. It's an anonymous person, an anonymous woman who says she's a relative of Lance Twiggs. Who is she? We don't know. What's the relationship? We don't know. But she says that she is 100% certain that Tyler Robinson is the right guy, the guy who murdered Charlie Kirk.
There's text messages between Tyler and Lance where they're texting after the event. A lot of people find them unusual.
The world that they were in, like this gaming world, like that was a normal way that they kind of spoke, that this wasn't an abnormal, the way they spoke wasn't abnormal.
There have been a lot of questions about where Lance is now, whether he's in the FBI protection program. It's been a big mystery. He kind of has disappeared.
Yeah, my understanding was for the first few weeks, because there were so many threats against his family that and him, that they had, my understanding is they did have a little bit of FBI detail, and they kind of moved around a little bit, but they're not anymore. He's with his family.
There are so many theories out there, and I'm sure you've seen them. People think other people are involved, or another government was involved. I mean, you're kind of in the middle of this. How confident are you that police have the right guy, Tyler Robinson?
100%. They have the right guy.
Well, what do you make of that, Batman?
I mean, I haven't heard a whole lot of convincing evidence that it was anybody else, right? He was in the area. They tracked his car. They have him on surveillance cameras. They have the rifle, which belonged to his family member, all that stuff. I haven't really heard anything super convincing that this was otherwise.
Yeah, she is basically just confirming the story as told by investigators. We didn't get a lot of information added there, other than she says they're not, Lance Twiggs and his family, they're not under protection of the FBI or the feds currently. They've left Utah, apparently. But I would be interested to know. She talks about the threats against him, and I have no reason to believe that's untrue, because I'm sure that family probably did receive threats. I would be interested to know who is bringing the threats and why. Is it angry Nazi Charlie Kirk fans? Maybe. Or is it members of the mostly peaceful transgender community who are very pissed off that Lance Twiggs has been cooperating with investigators? I suspect it's probably the latter.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the whole, death threats from the right and stuff like that. I mean, really, how many times have you seen that ever pan out for real? No,
I've heard a few from Batman on this show, but never never pan out. Yeah, I've never.
No, this is coming from Ziz himself, I'm sure.
Yeah. How many? Well, it's a fair. When was the last? The last right wing assassination or political murder? They would say that Hortman in Minnesota was one, but that guy, I have a lot of questions about that guy, that Tim Walz friend guy. I'm not saying that he was directed by Tim Walz, as he said, but he seems very bizarre and kooky insofar as I don't think it's at all clear that he was just operating on behalf of right-wing politics.
Yeah. And I mean, people try to use this whole, this Bolter character as like an analogous figure to the Charlie Kirk murder. Like, the right did it first. This is retaliatory, stuff like that. But I mean, the guy worked so closely with Walz that, and there are pictures of him, of course, in all kinds of Democratic Party propaganda gear, and
don't forget his weird Papa John's roommate who said he was very right wing and hated abortion and all that. But remember, he had No Kings flyers in his car, which was also weird because it was No Kings
pictures
weekend.
of him, and there's pictures of him wearing like the Black Lives Matter fist. What Republican do you know actually does that?
I guess I haven't seen those, but that guy was, whatever that guy's deal was, I have no idea what that was about. But I will say about the only, because I know there's a lot of opinions and theories about who actually killed Charlie Kirk. And if you want to go down that road and be critical of this reporting, I mean, we have no verification or certainty that this woman is who she says she is. We just have to rely on reporter Brian Enton's presentation that she is in fact a relative of Lance Twiggs with knowledge. Based on the interview, it sounds like she doesn't sound like a liar to me, but how can I independently verify what she's saying? It's just believe her or don't. But this is the first I've heard from anybody in Lance Twiggs' circle who claims to have knowledge of who he is and what he's about. Yep. But a lot of insanity still going on in Minnesota and the Twin Cities. Of course, the ongoing ICE immigration enforcement is being strongly resisted. And at this point, no side really looks like they're backing down. Trump now has some 3,000 federal agents in the Twin Cities area. And the protests and riots keep getting more rabid. Minneapolis police mostly just letting it happen. They intervene sometimes, but if you have opposition to the mob, they're probably going to leave you to the wolves. And so Trump is considering a few options, including invoking the Insurrection Act to authorize military deployment to keep the peace. Also, apparently criminally investigating some of the people involved. And according to reporting yesterday in NBC, that now includes Becca Good, the air quotes wife of Renee Good, the woman who hit the gas on the ICE agent and paid the price for it.
The one who was putting out cigarettes on Renee Good's children.
Is that right? True? I've heard that, but I don't know if I've never seen verification of it. Could I, as I've said, the lesbian domestic violence record is undefeated, so it wouldn't shock me to learn that that's true, but I just haven't seen confirmation of it.
Well, how often do you see a woman lose custody of her children to a man?
That is the guy's dead though.
Wait, is he?
Yeah, the father is dead. So I just don't know. And I think those two children are older, like the ones, they might be adults. I don't know what the situation is, but there are a lot of questions.
She did lose custody of them, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen.
Chose to stay with the person who was abusing them.
I haven't seen confirmation of that. I've seen people saying it. I'm not saying it's false. I just haven't seen a court record to that effect. But, but I've seen the video of Becca Good and Renee Good being completely deranged. So would I be shocked to learn that their home environment was dysfunctional and destructive? I would not.
Well, I mean, people say, oh, she was in fear for her life and all this stuff. But if you really zoom in on, the various angles of the footage where you can actually see her face when she hits the gas. She has this demented grin on.
She has an assault smirk, Nick Sandman style. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of disturbing to see, sort of in the same way that, like, when you actually finally see the monster in a horror movie, you're like, ugh. That's gross.
I want to know the discrepancy between the photos, because the first photos that were released, that's more than just lipstick on that lesbian. That's like a different person. So maybe the photo was wrong. I don't know. Anyway, when I say air quotes wife, we're talking about this on the Wednesday stream. Notice this NBC reporting here says federal officials are investigating Renee Nicole Good's partner. They don't use the word wife. And the reason they don't use the word wife is exactly what we talked about on Wednesday. There is no record that Renee Good and Becca Good were married. Julie Kelly, some other reporters have tried to track down court records in states where they've lived to that effect. They don't exist. I've not seen any demonstration that they were, in fact, wives. They were domestic partners. And you might think that's kind of a distinction without a difference. I mean, they lived together. They had this kid in their custody, of course. But in terms of how this giant GoFundMe is going to be handled, and in terms of the child custody now that Renee is dead, the marriage distinction probably will matter to a large degree. But
they have the same last name, which means they are embracing Somali culture, and they're probably family.
That maybe that's because she changed her last name. There is record of her name change. Yeah. But yeah, who knows? Maybe they worked with Ilhan Omar to game the system. But the investigation now involves whether Becca Good, quote, impeded a federal officer moments before the shooting. Becca Good's lawyer responded to NBC, and he's saying that he has received no contact from federal officials indicating that Becca Good is the subject of an investigation. However, this reporting that Becca Good is under investigation is consistent with some reporting this week. And I know this is disputed by the Justice Department, so it depends on who you believe. But there was reporting by the New York Times this week that said that a bunch of federal prosecutors in Minneapolis had resigned over opposition to the direction that the DOJ was taking in terms of investigating Becca Good. The DOJ has denied that they fired anybody for that reason. They say some people chose to retire, and a couple of the people are already working there still. So they say that this New York Times reporting is incorrect, at least in the specifics. I don't think that this is made up entirely. The terms of the prosecutors leaving the office could be debatable, but there's conflict in that office, and it appears to be conflict related to whether or not to go after Becca Good with an investigation. So I think that this is probably correct reporting that the Justice Department is considering this. And the thing is, it's like this impeding language. That's actually pretty kind. I would think that's actually pretty lenient, because you watch the video. It's not just that she was impeding with Renee Good. There's the video of them sitting parked across the street. And by that, I mean like their vehicle is perpendicular in the street, blocking traffic for minutes before the shooting happened. We know that they were trying to block traffic in that way. So impeding seems like a very low bar to establish. This is a case of aggression. It's not just obstruction. There was an aggressive act taken in the form of the gas pedal hit and the car driving at the federal agent, the ICE agent. Of course, he was hit. There were reports he has internal bleeding. But for Becca Good, because Renee's not going to be charged because she's dead, in the video, Becca Good is saying, drive, baby, drive. Okay, that seems like there's some sort of involvement in, conspiracy in the commission of a crime, an act of violence against a federal agent. I would think impeding would be the lowest possible bar to get her. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, she had the assault smirk, as you said. She had the demented grin. Like, this is
assault
not a
smirks are against federal law. They can get her on that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, you could tell that this was a woman who was intent on violence, right? I don't think that's even. There are still people trying to argue that she was in fear for her life and whatever, but these are not serious actors. These are
the smirk actually does disprove that. The smirk is evidence to that effect. I agree. And it's not, you notice how they keep saying, oh, she said, I'm not even mad at you, dude. It's very obvious she was mocking. And I'm not saying mocking is a crime, but that puts to bed the theory that she was that she was some terrified woman trying to escape the situation. No, She mocked a little too hard, and she mocked with the force of her vehicle and its acceleration, not just the force of her assault smirk.
And then they had to pick up her brain out of her lap. It's justice. Well,
that report, I initially thought, based on the video, she must have been straight domed because of the way the car crashed into the other car. Do you see this week? I don't have the report handy, but Minneapolis Fire Department released information. Apparently she was shot 4 times, which I find very confusing because I hear 3 shots in the video.
It's impossible one of the other officers took a shot at roughly the same time.
Maybe. And, just because you can't hear it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But they say 4 shots, and they say 2 to the chest, 1 to the arm. And there's a very confusing language about a 4th one that hit what they say was like exposed flesh on her face. But how the hell does it sounds like flesh was ripped off her face and a bullet hit that. I wish I had the exact language they used. But that doesn't make any sense, because how did the flesh become detached on her face if it wasn't already hit with a round?
I don't know.
I'm very confused by that report. I should have grabbed it, but I don't have it. But whatever happened, they do say 1 round hit her in the head, the face, somewhere in that region.
Yeah, and there are reports out there. I haven't, of course, seen any of this video for myself, but there are reports out there that what the round that hit her in the face did was pretty graphic.
I would think so, yeah. And